right, honey. All righty, good evening, everybody. Give us a second. Just want to get the camera on. Dun, 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 dun. And we are good to go. All right, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Awareness Wednesday Prime Time. We are your host, Reggie and Victoria Flanagan out of New Jersey. I'm hoping you guys are having a good evening. I'm just going to say thank you for being our co-host this morning. We're live on Facebook and we're also going to be live on Zoom, as you can see. All right, so share the word, send out a text, and get others invited onto this conversation on what we'll be talking about today. It was an important topic to all of us. I'm sure we know someone who may know someone who has this issue of bipolar. All right. So before we get into detailed information, I'm going to pass this over to Victoria, give her reasons why this platform is important to her. Victoria, take it away, my darling.
I am just here to help our family understand what is the importance of staying woke. We just really have to keep our eyes open, family. There's so much going on, especially this particular subject here. Indeed. People are off their meds in the street. They're getting real scary out here. So we just want to pay attention.
Indeed. That's exactly what we want to do. And before we get into detailed information, we have a disclaimer, the Power Couple of Health, that's who we are. And this platform is for information only. So this program offers health and also nutritional information. It is not diagnosed for educational purposes only. It is not designed for educational purposes only. That's what it's for. You should not rely on this information as a substitute for, or nor does it replace your professional or medical or physiological advice, diagnose, or treatment. None of the statements made have been reviewed or approved by the FDA. Remember that this platform is designed to give you good, effective information. It's up to you to take the information and move it forward and share with others that that may be going through these issues that we speak about every single week. All right. So there are, like Victoria said, there's so much going on around the world. I mean, all over, from high blood pressure on the rise, diabetes, cancer, obesity, you name it, everything. But the sad part is that it's affecting our children. All these issues are now taking place in our young adults, and that is a major problem to us. So that's why we share this information every single week, to get you and educate you on what could be happening in your own household. And it just pays to take the notes that she, based on the reports that she gives, take those copious notes, write things down, use this information for yourself to help better you and your family. That's why we do what we do. That's why we call it the Power Couple of Health. It's about making you aware. That's why it's called Awareness Wednesday. All right. So with that being said, I'm going to pass this back over to the urgent, the certified health coach, my better 7/8, because she's way more than just my half, Miss Victoria Flanagan. I'll give information on, as you can see, bipolar. Take it away, Miss Flanagan. Take it away, my darling. I appreciate you.
Thank you, sir. It's a pleasure working with you always.
It's a pleasure working with you as well.
This is Mental Health Month, and we just want to stay right on that page for a minute. It's so many different topics. There's so many different illnesses that can fall under that category of mental illness. We found out it was over 200 mental illnesses out there. So I'm only going to pick just a few to go over. Last week we did mental illness, the overall, and this week we've chosen bipolar. And I chose this one because we were watching something with Dr. Phil, with the kid with the cell phone. Amazing. But the information that I gather, it comes from absolutely everywhere. I gather up information. I'm a researcher, and I love to read. I love to grab. I love to get information here, there, a little bit of everywhere, and pull it together just to make sure everybody's saying the exact same thing. Everybody's on the same page. But the information that I'm finding, it will blow your mind. And if I can find it, I want you to be an advocate for your own health and look for your illnesses, not to diagnose yourself, but I want you to educate yourself on any illness that's out there or that might be going through your family. So bipolar, what is bipolar? The exact cause of bipolar disorder isn't known. By a combination of genetics, environment, and alters your brain structure and chemistry, it may play a role. You have two types of bipolar. Well, actually, it's 5, but we're only going to be talking about 2. Bipolar 1 and bipolar 2. You have your highs and you have your lows. That's what bipolar is. You be the life of the party 1 minute, and then the next minute you're sitting in the corner and you're crying, wonder why nobody talking to you. But you don't know what somebody is going through. So that's why you should mind your own business in these streets and pay attention to the children, because a lot of this is affecting our children right now. So I did this report. I first did it in September of 2020. That's how long it's been since we did this. Wow. And back then it was over 30 million people living with bipolar. Since I pulled this report up and yet went over it yesterday, it's up to 45 million.
Look at that.
From 30 million to 45 million. That's wow. 15 more million people since 2020. So what did that COVID do to us? You know, being isolated and shut down, got people just in their own heads. So that's why I really brought this one back up. So the bipolar mood disorder is formally known as manic or depressive disorder. It typically begins as depression and it develops into alternating periods of depression and mania, causing dramatic mood swings from overly high and irritable to sad and hopeless. And then back again to the highs. That's what I'm saying. It's like a roller coaster, up and down, up and down, up and down. But it's serious, family. It really is. And often are periods of normal mood patterns in between the highs and the lows. So severe changes in your energy, your behavior go along with these changes in your mood. The highs are called manias and the lows are called depression. Bipolar is the 6th leading cause of disability in the world. Number 6. Wow. So there's a whole lot of people walking the streets, right, and they don't know they walk in the streets. That's how sad it is. Yeah. But I watched this documentary called Mental Health Documentary. The other days I was just going through a whole lot of documentaries in there when he walked in. A young lady, she was going through these issues at 13. Her mother went and had her tested, went through quite a few diagnosis before she didn't get an actual diagnosis until 23. So from 13 to 23, she suffered from this and didn't know what was going on. So that's why I say we have to pay attention, keep our eyes open to our children, because right now our children are under attack. Got to pay attention. So it states here that although they're well understood, these two issues, but there are several theories on how to dissect the origin. It may be triggered by extreme stress. Some researchers believe that the early experiences, such as a loss of a parent or early childhood trauma, plays an important role. So you don't know what a child has been through, and you got a lot of adults now that's having these issues, that something that happened to them when they were a kid. So it's all coming out now. So childhood trauma plays an important role. And the symptoms of some childhood psychological disorders, it could be ADD, that's attention deficit disorder, or attention deficit hyperactive disorder, that's ADHD. And that's what they're labeling our children with, ADD, ADHD, there are all kinds of things they're labeling our children. So a lot of these things are being misdiagnosed. That's why I'm saying pay attention, do your own little research. It's very important. So these can conduct a disorder, or it can flip over into schizophrenia. A lot of children are being diagnosed with schizophrenia. And this can be similar to those of mania. So a thorough examination is needed to avoid misdiagnosis. I was saying this morning, if you don't get the diagnosis you want, you have to go and get a second opinion. You don't like what they're saying, go get a third opinion. This is nothing to play around with.
Exactly, get the opinion.
You want to be diagnosed properly, exactly. Because once you're diagnosed, that's what they're going to label you as, and that's what they're going to treat you for. And if you've been misdiagnosed, you're taking the wrong medication.
If that's the case.
Yeah. Exactly. So you got to pay attention to that. So it's not uncommon for children who are diagnosed with a psychic depression to be diagnosed with bipolar. And I was listening the other day. I go walking, and I put on my headsets, and I listened to Les Brown. And Les Brown, motivational speaker, he was talking about how our children are being traumatized. He said they're being traumatized by social media.
Mm-hmm.
And he stated that children ages 5 to 11 are committing suicide, and it's up by 70%. Our children from ages 5 to 11. This is serious, family. We really got to pay attention to this. So here's some symptoms of the lows, the depressive episodes. These are the lows. They say you can have lasting sadness, anxiety, an empty mood where you're just feeling just blue, feeling of hopelessness, a feeling of guilt and worthlessness or helplessness. Pay attention to your children when they come in from school. Do you ask them how their day was? Do you go in their room and sit with them? Do you help them with their homework? Do you know what's going on with your children? So the next one is a loss of interest or pleasure in activities once they enjoyed. Decreased energy, a feeling of fatigued or being just slowed down. Also, difficulty concentrating or remembering or making decisions. That's another one. Do they change their mind a lot? The next one is restlessness or irritability. Sleeping too much or not being able to sleep at all. These are the lows of bipolar.
Now, you mentioned about sleep yesterday. They can go, some that's diagnosed with bipolar, can go, what, days without sleeping?
That's the highs.
That's
we didn't get to that yet.
Okay,
not so fast, fellas. Slow down.
Got you.
He walked in on that when I was watching. It
just hit me, yeah.
Sleeping too much or not being able to sleep at all. Mm-hmm. A change in appetite or unintended weight loss or weight gain. Also, chronic pain or other persistent body symptoms that are not caused by physical illness or injuries. The last one is thoughts of death and suicide attempts. These are the lows. And they say 1 in 5 complete that suicide. So that's what I'm saying. You got to pay attention.
Yeah.
If you feel in love, you feel like you need to talk to somebody, the suicide hotline is 988. Remember that number, tell your children about it, keep it in your phone, because you never know when you have to hit that number. So here are some of your manic episodes. These are your highs when you're feeling high, you feel like a superhero, like you could fly. So it says the periods of high are called mania. Increased energy and activity, and you can have some restlessness. Also, excessive high, overly good euphoria mood. You just feeling real good about yourself. Extreme irritability. You so good, you feel so good, you don't know what to do with yourself. Racing thoughts and talking very fast, jumping from one idea to another. They did talk about that in the documentary. They just start this subject over here and then jump to that subject and then jump to another subject. That can be a sign of the highs, the manic episodes. So the next one is distractibility and inability to concentrate. They need little sleep.
This is what I walked on.
Right. The gentleman said they can go days without sleeping.
Right.
Days without sleeping. You know you need your rest. But people that have bipolar, when they're in that high manic episode, they can't sleep. They're just wired. They're just going. So they try to tinker or get into something to keep them busy because they can't sleep. A lot of them suffering from insomnia. So that was something that he walked in on. Mm-hmm. He said they go days without sleeping. Yes, they go days without sleeping. Unrealistic beliefs of one's ability and powers. They feel like they're gods. They feel like they're superheroes, that they can do anything. I mean, just do anything. That's how they feel. Also, poor judgment. This is one of the highs. They have very poor judgment. And this is another one, spending sprees. They had a young lady, she disappeared for a couple of days, left the house, packed a bag, left the house. Her job was looking for her, her family was looking for her. She had went off, got a hotel room, and ran up all her credit cards. I mean, just went on a crazy shopping spree to the max. She maxed out all of her credit cards. That's a high of hers. But she just walking around thinking she all that and she getting this, I could get this and I could get this and that. But once she got back to that hotel room, after that high, that's so high, she started crashing. What did I do? What happened? Sometimes they have that where they don't know where they are or what they're doing. She just crashed after that. What am I going to do with all this stuff? I maxed out all my credit cards. Am I going to take all this stuff back? How do I explain this? And then she got to explain just disappearing from her job and her family. It's the highs and the lows that they go through. So the next one is a lasting period of behavior that is different than unusual. They're always doing something out the norm. So pay attention. I'm telling you, you might be living with somebody with bipolar and don't even know it. Increased sexual drive. Chasing you around the house a little more often than they were before COVID. So you got to pay attention to that. This one is another one. The young lady talked about it in the documentary. She said abuse of drugs, particularly cocaine, alcohol, and sleeping medications. She got indulged in alcohol. That's how she was trying to suppress her symptoms that she was having. She was trying to numb it with alcohol, and nothing worked. She became an alcoholic, but that didn't work. So they get addicted to drugs, particularly cocaine, because you know cocaine gives you that little euphoria feeling, right? And then sleeping medications. A lot of them take in sleeping medications because they can't sleep. That's something to pay attention to as well. The next one is intrusive and aggressive behavior. That's when they have those high highs because they feel like they Superman. You can't touch me and da 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 da. So my thing is with bipolar. Now they're having some of our police departments taking classes on how to deal with people with mental illness. Because a lot of them in New York, they call the cops on somebody acting up in the streets. They'll tase them and it doesn't phase them. And now they got to shoot them down, not knowing that somebody was off their meds.
Right, like that young man a few weeks ago.
Just a few weeks ago, right. So this is why officers are going to have to start taking a class on mental illness, how to deal with somebody coming up on somebody with mental illness. This is real, family. And they were saying in the thing yesterday, and a lot of this comes from the National Institute of Mental Health. They were saying so many people are misdiagnosed. Make sure you get the proper diagnosis. I said, if you have to go for a second opinion, do just that. If you have to go for a third, go for a third. But find the proper diagnosis that you need. So also they said here, where am I?
Because you know, it is so much, so many.
It's so many. You can totally be misdiagnosed from health issues, from we went through some of the different mental illnesses last week. It's so many that's out there. And you want to get diagnosed properly so you can take the proper medication for that. Now, also the report was saying that, let me go to this one here first. Psychohub.com. If you want some more information, you can go to that website. If you need help, you can go to 1-800-662-HELP. 1-800-662-4357. So if you're looking for help, again, call 988 if you're having some issues. It says people with bipolar 1 disorder have manic episodes. These are the highs, or mixed episodes, and often have one or more depressive episodes. People with bipolar 2 have major depressive episodes with less severe mania, and they experience hypomania, a condition that is less intense than mania, and it can last for less than a week. So patients may seem like they're the life of the party, full of charisma and humor, and then may feel like the function fine. And even if a family member can see the mood swings, however, hypomania can lead to mania and depression. So
That's
somebody
interesting.
that might be close to you can see you when you about to change. You know, you might be at a party somewhere and have a drink. You might be something that triggers that. You know, something can trigger that, and just you can just go into somebody else, like an actor. You're putting on a skit for somebody and go into something else. So they say that the bipolar disorder is the leading theory that the brain chemistry fluctuates abnormally, and when levels of certain chemicals become too high, the patient develops mania. And when the levels drop so low, that could be depression. So that's why
Wow.
you have the highs,
And you have
highs,
those lows,
and then the
lows.
lows, lows. Sometimes you're in there in between. It could be something that can trigger you that can send you off. So you definitely have to know your high highs and your low lows. So I'm going to talk about toxins. We talk about that a lot. In, in this platform, we talk about toxins.
And we do.
And I say, if you go to the doctors, you want to always have your
heavy metals.
toxicity levels checked. Have them check your heavy metals. A lot of these conditions come from too many heavy metals in your system.
Possibly.
Possibly. There could be a different combination. Some can have mercury, some can have lead, some can have aluminum. So these things come from everywhere. So toxins: mercury, aluminum, copper, nickel, arsenic, and lead. Lead is our greatest threat in our health and well-being. That's lead. So that's one that they're going to test you for.
Before you go any further, I was just watching, I can't remember what event or what show it was, but there was a young lady who were having these bipolar issues that she's talking about. Come to find out that she had had a piece of lead shrapnel in her leg from a surgery that she had years ago.
Oh, wow.
And it never all got removed. So it was a piece still left in there, but that lead was still leaking into her bloodstream, which was making her sick. And they come to find out that that's what it was. So that is very important to get that checked. So if you get that blood work checked, get your blood work done, get those heavy metals checked,
so
get to see it.
to do
It is
that.
important,
It
but we
really
all
is.
have the metals.
And people don't even think about that as a test.
Yeah.
You don't know why you're hurting or why you're
And
why
when
you're
going to
sick
ask
as
you,
you
they're going to
are.
ask you. Most people don't ask for that test.
Right. Well, what
But
do you
it.
know about
Yeah,
that? That's what
get
my
it.
doctor said. What you know about
Exactly.
that?
At least
I've
you
been
want to know
doing
your
some
levels.
research. Exactly.
Exactly.
So it says the toxins, and we can get them from everywhere. They're in the air pollution, they're in plastics, they're in industrial cleaning agents that you got right up under your bathroom sink or in your kitchen sink. Cleaning agents, you can get these toxins from. Water reservations, you can get them from there. Things that we come in contact on a daily basis,
That
like
you
Reggie was
breathe
saying,
every day.
every single day. Aluminum cans, they have the PBA of the aluminum cans, you know, soda cans, cans that your canned foods that come in, that's aluminum. So another one is dental amalgams in your fillings. When you, what I said, if you were born in the 60s, back in the 60s, they filled your teeth with mercury. You know, you would, now you have to have the mercury removed, and they're geared up in the whole white gowns and things to get that mercury out of your mouth. But we didn't know what you call it exactly. We didn't know that back then.
They didn't know.
Also, you have aluminum foil. Do you cook with aluminum foil? Do you wrap things in aluminum foil? Foil is still aluminum.
Get them pots and pans.
I'm getting there. Batteries. If you got the batteries in certain things, and that's why they say don't sleep with your cell phone in your bed next to your head, because you don't know what all EMF and all that going through that cell phone. And then your phone get hot when you put it in the bed, and that could start a fire. So don't do that either. Also, metal cookware. This is what he was just talking about. And the first time we talked about this, we had everybody's like, what? To buy pots? But you got to be aware of the cooking utensils that you're using, because if your pots are scratchy and your pots are peeling, when you cook out of them and they're all scratched up at the bottom,
exactly.
Every time you heat something in that pot, you're eating some of that.
That's right.
Little bits and charred
you may
pieces.
Not see it.
At a time,
but
you're eating that. These are how these heavy metals get into our system. So you got to be aware of what you are cooking out of.
And I know a lot of people have that favorite pot. You know, it cooks so good, but yet it's so old.
It's scratched all up.
You got to replace these
throw
things.
That in the
throw it out. Get you something new.
Stainless steel, cast iron, and what was the other one?
You have stainless steel, cast iron.
What was
Those are
the
the main
other?
two.
No, it was another one. I can't think of it. If
Hmm.
anybody remember, put it in the chat. It's three of them that you can get.
Oh,
Cast iron, stainless steel. Oh God, I went to black. I can't even think of it. But get you some good pots. Get a good
oh,
set of
copper.
copper. That was the other
Yeah,
one.
copper.
Get a good set of pots. And if you got to replace those pots, throw those things out
Yeah,
if they're
throw them
peeling.
out.
And we should always use wooden
Wooden.
utensils when cooking so they don't scratch up your pots and pans. You shouldn't be having a fork scrambling those eggs. You should have a wooden utensil scrambling those eggs. So those are just some of where these toxins come from. And I want to share with mercury. This is at the top of the list here about bipolar. It says that mercury toxicity can be responsible for countless disorders and symptoms, including anxiety, ADHD, OCD, that's also compulsive disorder. You know, you got to have everything in order, OCD. Also,
All of
autism,
us got a little bit of that, right?
right? Too much mercury in your brain could be autism. It could be bipolar disorder, a neurological disorder, epilepsy. Too much mercury can lead to epilepsy, tingling in the numbness in the fingers, twitches, if you have twitches and spasms. Also, hot flashes. Ladies, if you have an abundance of hot flashes, get your toxicity levels checked. Heart palpitations, hair loss, brittle nails, memory loss, insomnia. Insomnia, so many people suffer from insomnia. Just get your metals checked. It's so important to do that. It's better to know than not to know. Also, inflammation. If you got a lot of inflammation in your body, you could possibly have an overload of mercury.
Indeed.
Inflammation is next Wednesday. Okay, a loss of libido is another one. Migraine, headaches, depression, and brain fog. Fog. That's just from mercury.
Right.
That is just from one toxic metal, mercury, that can possibly cause these issues. That's why it's so important to know your body and what can throw your body off. The next one I want to talk about is quicksilver elixir. This is our ancestors. We're going back a minute here. Quicksilver elixirs, our parents used to give us that when we were smaller, just a little bit of it. It was for illnesses back in the 1800s, but my mother knew about this quicksilver. And it was neurotransmitters, the chemical substance released by your nerve cells. You take a huge hit, depleting and supply of important neurochemicals such as your serotonin and your dopamine, contributing against to things like anxiety and depression and bipolar. Remember, there was a blue man. I talked about this morning. Remember that older gentleman and his skin was blue? Do you remember him?
I remember you talking about that guy.
That was because of the silver that he was taking. He took so much of it. His skin was blue. I mean, his skin was blue. He was an older gentleman. He had a beard. It's just like I could see his face because he used to always come on TV all the time. But he just took too much. Took way too much. So there's another therapy. It's called salation therapy. This is another good one. This is a procedure involving administration of substances designed to remove heavy metals from your body. Salation means to grab or to bind. It's something that they can give you to help flush toxins out of your body. This is another heavy metal detox. This is a smoothie, and this came from another book that I have with Dr. Williams. These little combinations here, you can do it separately or you can do it all together to help sweep toxins out of your body. You don't always have to take a medication or take something. You can go natural as well to help detoxify some of these heavy metals out of your body. The first one was spirulina. We have spirulina in our green 29 and our Lviv yellow. Also, spirulina, it draws out heavy metals from your brain, your central nervous system, and your liver. That's spirulina. You could buy that in the grocery store.
Mm-hmm.
The next one is barley grass juice extract powder. This also draws heavy metals out of your spleen, your intestinal tract, your pancreas, your thyroid, and reproductive system. That's barley grass juice extract powder. The next one is cilantro. You could cook with cilantro. Sure cilantro is excellent for so many issues. It goes deep into the hard to reach places, extracting metals from yesteryear, things that's been in there for a long time. Cilantro. So you could cook with cilantro, make you some spaghetti and put the cilantro in your spaghetti. The next one is wild blueberries. This is another, this is a miracle berry. Wild blueberries can be good for so many different things. It says wild blueberries, they draw heavy metals out of your brain tissue, healing and repairing gaps in your brain, created by oxidation. Blueberries help reverse any oxidative damage left behind by heavy metal removal. Wild blueberries. Wild blueberries are the most powerful food for healing, can help with Alzheimer's and dementia. I say that all the time. Eat you some blueberries. I keep frozen blueberries in there.
Like a snack. It's a little snack.
I'm telling you. Yeah. And then the last one is Atlantic dulse. This is like a seaweed. All those little seaweeds, you can buy them in Costco's now. They got the seaweed chips. They got the nori. They got the dulse. You can just buy them right in Costco's, and I love them. Atlantic dulse seaweed, it binds to mercury in your digestive tract and in your gut until it passes out of your body. So this is a shake that you can make with all of these things in it, with the blueberries, the cilantro, the grass, spirulina, and all of that in there. Or you can eat these things separate, a little bit every single day. So again, do your own research, family, and find out what works for you. Another one is lemon water. Get you some organic lemons. You could cut up a lemon, you could boil it on the stove.
That's alkaline in your water.
It's alkaline in your water, exactly. Yeah. But drink it hot first thing in the morning. That is a detox. That is a thorough, inexpensive detox, is to drink hot lemons. Don't peel it, just chop up the whole lemon and put all of that in there and drink that lemon water. You could drink it throughout the day, but first thing in the morning is really good. The next one is aloe vera leaf juice. It's excellent. That is excellent for also cleansing out your body. You can also do a juice fasting. It's also helping to cleanse your digestive system. Fasting is giving your digestive system a rest, so it doesn't have to overwork itself trying to break down food that you've eaten. So do a juice fast every once in a blue moon. Just go on a 3-day juice fast just to give your system a good cleansing and a good rest of your digestive system.
And it's something that, because fasting is really good for the body. It really is. If you have never tried it, just try it. And your body will feel so much better from doing it. I fast every day.
Yeah, he does.
Every day. Every single day I
Lucky
fast.
Mister over there.
I know, right? And it just makes you feel good. You don't miss it. You don't crave for anything, because it's a normal habit now. It's a routine that I've developed. So I eat once a day, and that's it. That's all my body needs. So it's just a good thing. It just makes you feel really, really good.
It really does.
It really does. And here's the other thing too I want to mention on these metals too. A lot of us are in homes that are more than 100 years old. Think about this. And if their house was built, I think it was for 1978 or 76, a lot of houses had lead, and they were using a lot of lead paint before they decided to eliminate that out of the products now. But some homes still have it. And you might want to get a lead abater and get your home tested to make sure that you don't have particles in your home that you're breathing, because you can't see them. And I think that each home, if your home does have lead in it and it gets tested, I think it should be less than 10,000 parts per million in your home of lead content. So check that. If you remember years ago, on the edge of your window, the window baseboard of that air seal itself, the window seal, exactly, that children used to chew on that because it had a sweet taste, but it had lead. So a lot of children were diagnosed with lead poisoning. And once lead gets into the brain, it's extremely hard. If not, I think in most cases you can't get it out.
You can't.
And it can cause some serious issues.
We had a classmate, Barbara Woods, her brother. He had lead poisoning from chewing the
Exactly, window
the
sill as
window
well.
sill.
So you got to be careful of that. So get it tested. I do letter baby myself. I haven't done it in a long time, but I'm certified licensed to do that. But get it done. I tested our home because our home was built in the 1930s, and goodness, nothing showed up in our home. And I tested the entire building.
You will
Mm-hmm.
be surprised at what can make you sick in your own home.
Mm-hmm.
There was something else that I read somewhere. I forgot where I read it, but the floors, if you're getting new wooden floors put down, you have to know where that wood is coming from. Because it was a whole family that got sick after they got their floors done. They couldn't figure out what was going on, where it was coming
Right.
from, but they all just took ill, started throwing up the whole 9 yards, and they couldn't make out what it was. All they know that they felt better when they left the house. So they went to stay at a hotel. Everybody got better. When they came home, they got sick again. They couldn't figure it out. It was the new floors that they had put down. You know, those little tile floors, you could connect the thing. Beautiful floor, but it was making the family sick. So
Yeah.
certain things and certain materials that you bring into your house, we just got to stay aware
Yeah.
from
Just be careful.
so much, family. It is.
Yeah.
So we're just here to give you these little tidbits for things to look out for.
Indeed. Indeed.
But I also wanted to share this. It says that up to 1/3 of the 3.4 million children and adolescents with depression in the United States may actually be experiencing some onset of bipolar disorders. Now listen to this, because this was also on TV that we was watching. And this came from the American Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychiatrists. They talked about the cell phones, the TV, and we just seen something today where the guy was saying TikTok is your daddy, Snapchat is your mother, Instagram are your grandparents. He was just talking about that. People are letting these social media devices raise their children. They're not talking to their children. The children can't carry on a conversation. You don't know what's going on in your child's life. You got to put these things down. You got to put these devices down and have a conversation with your children. It is imperative that you do that, because he was saying that the cell phones, it does something to that young brain, because their brains are still developing. And they were talking about how young should a child have a cell phone.
That was on Dr. Phil.
That was just on the TV the other day. He was saying at least 10. Anything younger than that, they're not quite ready for. We know that you have to give your children phones because you got parents that's working 2 and 3 jobs. You want to keep up with your kids. We understand that, but you got to put some boundaries on this phone. You know, there's no games. This is just for calling and letting us know where you are. They're putting what you call them little tabs in the buds in kids' clothes, and then they book bags, keep up with the kids. These are the times that we're living in. But he was saying that the social media is brainwashing your children. Truly, truly brainwashing your children. It was something about the cartoons a while back too. They have these little subliminal little things that will come in on the cartoons and tell kids to do things bad. You got to pay attention to what your children are watching as well. So that's what he was talking about: social media, cell phones, television, TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram. Know what your children are watching. Then he said, when mania, children and adolescents, in contrast to adults, are more likely to be irritable and prone to destructive outbursts than to be elevated or euphoria. We talked about that this morning. There was a little boy, and I know Reggie's seen the video. Y'all might have seen it too, or it's on, I think it was Instagram or one of those, where the mother took the 13-year-old boy's cell phone and he destroyed the house. I mean, tore her house up.
Holes in the wall.
Holes in the wall. He cracked the toilet in half. He flipped over the refrigerator, smashed up all of her bedroom furniture. Over a cell phone.
Thousands and thousands of dollars worth of repairs.
Of repairs.
Tore up the house.
Over a cell phone that she bought.
Yep.
There was another one just recently. A 13-year-old girl stabbed her grandmother to death because her grandmother took her cell phone. This is serious, family. This is serious. You're paying that bill on that cell phone. So you got to put some limits, some stats, something on that cell phone, some boundaries on that cell phone, because they're eating and taking up your children's minds.
They're controlling
so just be mindful of that.
Indeed.
So when depressed, they may be very physical. They can also complain about headaches, stomach aches, tiredness, poor performance in school, irritability, social isolation. They might feel have some social isolation where they don't want to be with anybody. That's because they stay in their room all day and they play video games.
Mm-hmm.
That was
Like
the other
that was
one.
the one last on Dr. Phil yesterday.
What they? How old was he?
He was 13.
He wouldn't even go to school. He
He
would
wouldn't even
just
go and take a bath or shower.
his mother would have to bribe
Bribe
him to
him to
get
do
up
that.
off the couch to go
Take
take
a
a
shower.
shower. All he did was play video games.
Yep.
All day long.
Not going to
Video
school.
games.
I mean, just games.
You gotta know what your children are doing.
Right.
So some of these things: social isolation, extreme sensitivity to rejection and failure. Exactly. Bipolar. Exactly. It was just something. So there are some medications that's out there. There's some other things that you can do if you are diagnosed properly. They said medication, you have some mood stabilizers that can smooth out the cycles that are prescribed. Anti-cycle drugs, and you have some anti-convulsive drugs, or you can have talk therapy, can also help patients stay on their meds. A lot of these people that's in the streets are off their meds. The lady this morning was saying her son's medication is $1,600 a month.
Wow.
For some psych meds. You can't even afford these meds. Okay, it's just sad.
Right.
The next one was cognitive behavioral therapy, focusing on changing their thoughts and their behaviors. Get them into something. Get them into something that's repetitive that they do on a daily basis, so you can just keep their mind focused on something else. Some of these people can be very, very creative. Some can be geniuses at the top of their game, but anything can trigger that to send them off. The next one is interpersonal therapy. This is ease strain or personal relationships. That's just getting them to focus and to deal with people in relationships. Not so much of the isolation part, but just getting them to function in society. The next one is social rhythm therapy. Helps patients develop mainly a daily routine. That's what anybody needs, a daily routine. And they have to follow that routine, including significant sleep, exercise, and a good diet. Sleep is so important. Exercise is so important.
And definitely good diet.
Exercise is the antidote to so many issues. If you're feeling just out of your mind, just go exercise, go do some jumping and just tire yourself out. Then you'll get some sleep. Take a bath, you'll get some sleep, all right. You just passing right out. So the other thing, that in severe cases of bipolar, you really don't know what to do. After you find the proper diagnosis, you have to get back to what are we going to do? How are we going to deal with this? Back in the day, they used to have all these places where you could send people away and they would get the shock therapy and all this other stuff. It was like a hush hush thing. They didn't want anybody to know in the family that Uncle Bob went away and he'll be back a little later and all this other stuff. It was so hush hush. But now it's coming out. It's coming to the forefront. So we got to talk about it. So the last resort is electroconvulsive therapy. This is shock therapy, ECT. It says it can help some people. ECT uses electric current to cause seizures in the brain. Also, it is one of the fastest ways to ease severe symptoms when medication doesn't work. So that's the last resort. They also have magnetic stimulation where they do these things with magnets. So we just really have to pay attention. Some people, if they're not diagnosed as a child, now you got an adolescence in your house. And then they're going to turn into young adults. And they're going to get bigger. They're going to get stronger. They're going to overpower you at certain times. You got to know how to deal with them. You got to know what triggers them. You got to know certain things that they shouldn't be eating. We're going to talk about that in a minute, a diet. It's just so much to look into that we have to stay abreast to these things, because a lot of these people don't know how to deal with it. A lot of people are keeping it suppressed. I got a list here of actors and actresses that suffer from bipolar that you would never even know.
And we're just talking about two of the five
mental illnesses.
illnesses.
Exactly.
Just two. So you can see how broad this is and how much information it is. And this is just the tip of the iceberg.
This is just a couple of stars that suffered from bipolar. You had Patty Duke, and then they all talked about it. Some of them have passed away from suicide. Patty Duke is an actress. Kathy Zeta-Jones, she suffers from bipolar. Mariah Carey suffers from bipolar, the singer. Demi Lovato, she went public about hers. Demi Lovato, she's a singer as well. Pretty girl. And she talks about her highs and lows. Carrie Fisher, we all know Carrie Fisher. She committed suicide. Margaret Trudeau, that's the Prime Minister of Canada. His wife is bipolar. You also have Richard Dreyfuss from Jaws. Remember Jaws? You have Maurice Bernard from General Hospital. I think he committed suicide too. The guy with the afro, nice looking guy too. And then you have Jane Pauley. She's from the Today Show and Dateline host. She came out about hers as well. So you're not alone going through this. You're just not alone. People are just not talking about it as they should. And you can't keep these things secret because you never know who you're going to be helping. I mean, everybody want to suppress everything and don't talk about it. What happens in this house stays in this house. That has got so many people in trouble. You got child molestation. You got everything going on in that house. Physical abuse. What happens in this house stays in this house. Our mother told us the same thing, and it was a whole lot of us. So what went on in the house stayed in the house. But you have to do what is right for you. Coming in 2024, it is just so much more. We have to keep our eyes, keep your head on a swivel, I always say, because there's so much going on right now. I got Dr. Phil's new book too, that we got issues. That's his book. That's the title of the book. And he's talking about absolutely everything in this book.
And his network, his station.
Oh yeah, the Merritt Street.
It's a lot of good content.
Merritt Street social media, and he's had some awesome topics on this program as well. He got a new studio, whole new crew of everything, new book, new crew, new radio, TV station, the whole thing. But he's keeping it real. He's talking about things that you're not going to hear in the news. You're going to talk about things that they don't want him to talk about, but he's going to talk about it anyway. And he always say that. You can't fix what you don't acknowledge.
Right.
You got to acknowledge that there's a problem so we can get it out and we can talk about it. So now we're going to talk about a diet. And this diet can go with any issue that we ever talk about. This is the basic plant-based diet that can help anybody. I mean, anybody. If you watch the movie What the Health on Netflix, you got to watch the movie What the Health. It's just a kickstart. The movie is called What the Health. Then there's Game Changers. You got to watch Game Changers because what they're really talking about is the food. The sponsors behind the food, the sponsors behind the illnesses that's out there. It's just an eye opener. So I like to share those two movies. There's so many more, but just start with those two. So the diet that we should be embarking on are very high in antioxidants. You want good things that got high antioxidants. So you want to eat a diet consisting of your fruits, your vegetables, your nuts, your seeds and beans and legumes. So those are your G-bombs. Your greens, your beans, your onions, your mushrooms, your berries, and seeds. And throw your fruit in there.
Right. That's all good stuff that the body needs.
And look for fruits with seeds.
Correct.
Your fruit should have seeds
in them.
If it doesn't have seeds, it's not real. It's not real, family. Just remember that.
You can't reproduce a fruit with no seeds.
Exactly. You want to get your whole grains, except for those who contain gluten. A lot of people are allergic or have a reaction to gluten. You got to start reading the labels. If it says gluten on it, put it back. If you cannot pronounce it, put it back. Do you realize that fruits and vegetables don't have any labels on it? So there's nothing to look for.
Correct.
Sugars. You want to look for the sugars that's in different
Correct.
items, and also look for added sugars. It might have zero sugar, but might have 15% added sugars. So you got to look for those
And
little added
there's
sugars
over
too.
70, 100 different names for
Of
sugar.
sugar, right?
So,
Exactly. So you can
yeah.
print that list out too and go through the
Right.
ingredients, see how many on there. Also, you also want to get some fish in your diet. Fish is very good for you. Turkey twice a week. Turkey is good for you. It's good, has the tryptophan that's in it. Fresh
To
fish.
help you get some sleep.
Exactly. Fresh fish is high in your omega-3s. Those are your good fats, good fatty acids. So we need that. So some of that can be found in tuna. Got to be careful of tuna, because too much tuna has mercury in it too.
Some of them, yeah.
Some of them. And then you have salmon. This one over here, he's going to turn into a salmon. And then herring. That's another fish. And they may stabilize your mood because of the omega-3s that's in it. You also have your nuts, your walnuts, your almonds. All of those are good omegas. The next one, you want to avoid sugars. Avoid sugars. And products containing sugar. I know it's hard because they put sugar in everything. We just talked about that. But you got to read your labels. Avoid alcohol. Avoid dairy, caffeine, carbonated drinks. Those are your sodas. Anything that fizz, you want to stay away from. And all foods with colorings, flavorings, preservatives, and other additives. It sounds like everything, don't it?
Well, you gotta eat clean.
You gotta eat
That's
clean.
It.
You really
That's
do.
the secret right there.
But they say a lot of these colorings and additives irritate children with certain issues like ADD or ADHD.
Because a lot of colorings are not like in some other countries. They won't allow those colorings in there.
Exactly. Like when we went to London, the M&Ms. I was like, "What's wrong with them M&Ms? They was dull. They didn't
but they were good. It tastes like M&Ms, just not have the coloring.
They just didn't have the bright coloring.
The different foods. They don't allow the coloring in their foods.
So it also says be aware of food allergies that may aggravate your mood swings. You can have a piece of pie at somebody's house and the next minute you in the room just acting crazy. So you got to know what your allergies are, what triggers your allergies. Do not take any drugs except the ones that are prescribed by your doctor. And I have to specify do not, because right now in America, they got this whole thing about fentanyl. They got this fake fentanyl coming over here. You can touch fentanyl, a grain of rice like fentanyl, it will kill you. So you don't want to take anything from anybody. If you got a headache, you just go home and drink some water. Don't take anything from anybody. So only take drugs that are prescribed to you. Establish and maintain a regular routine, a daily activity that you can stick to. A lack of sleep can trigger a relapse. So you got to get your rest. You got to get your rest. I'm telling you, get some exercise in there, something to really tire you out. You run on a treadmill, run around the block, do some jumping jacks or something that's going to tire you out. Take a bath and go to bed. Also, take high doses of vitamin B complex vitamins. They are very important for all mood disorders. B vitamins are for your brains. You definitely want to check with your doctor before you're taking anything that's got a lot of B vitamins in it. Check with your doctor. But B vitamins are for your brains. We got B vitamins, our memory fusion. We got B vitamins in our
everything, just a lot of products.
Just about everything. Our shield, our shanty, and our multi yellow. Right. So take your vitamins. Take your vitamins. So that's what we have for today, family, on bipolar. So now we are going to go right into
what's next, the products.
Yes.
All right. Before we get into that, we do have a disclaimer. The products that we're about to speak about have not been evaluated by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration and are not designed to mitigate, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. But all we do know is by our opinion, we have the best products on this side of heaven. As our business partner, Minister Brenda Terrell out of Mississippi, always states. We surely believe that.
This was a little note I had in there. Heinz ketchup.
Careful.
Heinz ketchup.
What happened?
On Facebook page is loaded with mercury. Just check it out, family.
Mm.
And it says, states down here, these are my little footnotes. Consumers with bipolar disorder face up to 10 years of coping with these symptoms before getting an adequate diagnosis. Like the young lady said, she was going through this stuff at 13, but she didn't get properly diagnosed till she was 23. So
See?
it's just something to think about. Are you being diagnosed properly? Get to a professional. Look up a professional. Go to, what's the website that I had? I had some websites for you too, family. Mental health. Oh no, that's the documentary. I had a couple of websites here. The number was 1-800-662-4357. That's for help. Then you have Psych Hub. That's PSYCH Hub, HUB.com. You can also go to the bipolar website, bipolar.com. You can also go to the National, what is it? National Institute of Mental Health. That's another one. You could go there. So you got to do your research. National Institute of Mental Health. That's another website. And do your own research. You really got to do your own research on that. So that's where we are with that family. So here, where we are in this company of all natural products, try them for yourself, family. Try them for yourself. I'm just going to tell you. We've been in this company for 15 years. The products work for me. They work for him.
Mm-hmm.
Got me off of my high blood pressure, helped me with my shingles, also helped with my fibroids, helped him with his allergies. So we have our own testimonies on what these products have done for us and other business partners. You just got to hear some of the testimonies. It will totally blow your mind. It really will. So here in Artist, I'm just going to suggest, first one is the Ultra Body Cleanse. I didn't even bring that one in here, but I got all the other ones. Ultra Body Cleanse is a detox. It's a daily detox that you take a pill in the morning and you drink a tea after dinner. After any Artist products, you want to drink a full glass of water, always, just to move things along. But detox, you should detox your system at least 4 times a year when the seasons change. You want to clean out your system. They do a Daniel fast at the beginning of the year. You could do one in the middle of the year, but do a juicing fast every now and then just to give your digestive system a rest. So the first 3 products I want to talk about are our essentials. We're going to always talk about our essentials. That's what we're drinking tonight in our little cup, is our essentials. That's the red, green, and the yellow. I'm knocking everything on the floor. The red are our antioxidants, high in antioxidants, and all this are berries. Like the report said, get those berries. It has mangosteen, acai, goji, pomegranate, and noni in that particular product. Tastes wonderful. Everybody in the household can take it, from the baby to grandma. You only need 2 ounces of the red Lviv. Very high in antioxidants to fight off free radicals. The next one we have is our green Lviv. This is our green Lviv is your daily detox. So anything that you've eaten for the day is just going to work its way right on through, cleaning out your liver, your digestive system, the whole 9 yards. Artichoke, milk thistle, alfalfa herbs, senna leaf, and aloe vera juice. You heard the report talked about that aloe vera juice, but there it is. That is it right there. So you got your red, your fruits, and these are your vegetables, your green. Then we have our yellow Lviv. This is our multivitamin. Everybody should be taking a multivitamin. It's loaded with your herbs, your minerals, high in antioxidants, and your micronutrients. But this is something we all need. It has 11 key vitamins, 8 vital minerals. It also has a polyphenol, cellular blend, herbal blend, antioxidants, and immunity ingredients. This stuff right here. Let me tell you, I was out Saturday and the girl was in the hair salon and she was just sneezing. And I was like, oh my, she said, these allergies are driving me crazy. She said, I was up all night, I couldn't sleep. I said, oh, I might have something for you. And she said, go get it. That's all she said, go get it. I said, it's all natural. She said, you can tell me about it when you get back. She just go get it. She said, I'll try anything. Called Reggie. I said, Reggie, did we have another bottle in there? He said, yeah, we do. Put it in a bag. I'm on my way. Put it in the bag, took it back to her. She was having some tea at the time. So I said, just pour a little bit, shake it up and pour a little bit in your tea. And right in there, she took it in. So I went back yesterday to see how she was doing, just do a follow-up. They said she was doing fine. She took the day off. But the product works, family. This is allergy season. Then I went to another hair supply place right after that. Same and another situation. Lady, exact same thing. She said these allergies, because it's been raining here so bad and everything was just washed all around. So we had one good day Saturday. The sun came out, everything popped out. So everybody's allergies was just going crazy. Multiplus, this is allergy season, family. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Okay, our next product that we have for allergies, I'm definitely going to go with your omegas. Just talked about those omegas. Get those fish oils. You need this. This is a good fish oil, your good fatty acids that we all need. Omegas are good from your brains all the way to your toenails. It's good for your heart, it's good for your blood.
Joints.
Joints, all of it, your teeth and everything. But the omega-3s, they work. These are caplets. You can also give them to the children. Stick a pin in it, squeeze it in their juice. They need their omegas as well. So those are the omega-3s. Then we have our green 29. We talked about the superfoods, the kelp, the spirulina, the chlorella. All of those superfoods are in our green 29 to help get rid of heavy metals. 29 different vegetables in there, and this works well. So these are your vegetables as well. You want to get those fruits and vegetables, just load your body up with fruits and vegetables. You can't go wrong with that. Then we have our memory fusion.
What's that called again?
Memory fusion. Oh,
yes.
We're talking about bipolar and anything in your brain. So you got to feed your brains like you feed everything else.
You sure do. It's an organ. You got to feed it.
Everything you take in, it goes to your brain first. It starts up here and works its way down. So you got to feed your brain good stuff. If you eat junky, you're going to think junky. If you eat good, you're going to think good. So put good things in. Loaded with all those B vitamins that the report talked about. B12. You have lion's mane mushrooms in there. Mushrooms for your brains. Absolutely fantastic product. You forgot your keys. You're looking for your keys and they're in your hand. Or you're looking for your cell phone. Girl, I'll call you back. You got your cell phone in your hand.
And you looking for
Memory fusion. Then we have two more. We have our shield. Our shield is immune booster. So you want to keep your immune system strong, especially right now with all this rain we're having. And I'm thankful for the rain because other countries are going through floods and tornadoes and hurricanes and volcanoes and everything. I complained about the rain a little bit. I walked in the rain yesterday. So it's just liquid sunshine to me now. So rain is good. Rain is good. But you want to keep your immune system strong. So this has another berry, elderberry, has zinc, has vitamin C, has a couple of B vitamins in here as well. Children can take this too. Most of our products are liquids and powders. They go right into your system to work immediately. So take your artist products. And last but not least, we have our Shanti.
One of my favorites.
One of his favorites. Shanti just means balance. It says it right there on the box, balance. And what this does, it improves your mental focus, what we're talking about today. Anybody you want to just calm them down a little bit, give them a Shanti. Keep Shanties, and these come in little sleeves. You can carry them in your pocketbook, throw a couple of them in your car, keep them with you all the time. So it improves mental focus, increase your metabolism. It's great for anxiety and stress. That's what we're talking about in this bipolar report, anxiety and stress. Increases that energy, mood enhancer. So it can help with that mood. They just all over the place. Mood enhancer. Give them some Shanti. Let me get you something to drink. Put a Shanti in there. Why am my juice red? Just drink it. Also, it improves sexual function and it works well on PMS symptoms.
So my favorite.
So that is a wonderful product there. All of these products, you can take them all together. You can take them separately. It's quite all right. Right now, we
and I
are
was going to say,
drinking.
you know, it's good. We mix everything together.
He
We really
does.
do.
I try to split
Everything.
mine up a little
And
bit.
if you are someone who is suffering with allergies, we are in that moment with the allergy season.
Yes,
The
yes.
perfect recipe for that is the red Lviv, the yellow Lviv, and the omega 369. That's the recipe for upper respiratory issues like allergies. So if you're suffering with that, that is your products that you need to take, because that's what helped me get through mine. And when that helped me, I said, who else knows about it? And now I'm telling you about it. So if you know anybody that knows somebody that has allergies, that's the product you want to use.
He had it bad, family.
It's
I can
effective.
attest to that. He had it bad.
Yep.
So that's a whole little brain combo right there. We
Okay.
talked about the same products last week as well.
Mhm.
So tonight we are drinking our three essentials. This
These are
is
the
the
three
red,
combo.
the green, and the yellow.
And you
We're
notice right on
taking
it,
it as a shot.
it's color coded, so I'll let you know right away
Yeah.
what line you want to fill up to for
Yeah,
each bottle.
give me some.
3 ounces right here. Cheers.
I don't usually take mine this late, but I'm taking it tonight. Time. Yeah, we're on prime time.
You got to represent.
But get back in contact with whoever invited you to this program. Get you some products. Bipolar is real. We got to start talking about these issues. Let's put it on the table. It's nothing to be ashamed of. Everybody knows somebody that's a little
never know.
Not themselves all the time. So let's just help out where we can. Get in where you fit in. If you got something that can help, put it out there.
I see some of my Panther partners. Hey, Dr. Alfred Parchment. What's up, guys?
All right.
I see a couple of people here. Hey, everybody. How y'all doing?
Hey, family. But watch this again. Put it on your Facebook page. Share this stuff out. Hit the share button. Share this out. Indeed. So many people in the streets that are dangerous. They're dangerous, family. So you got to keep your head on a swivel. Just all the time. Just be careful. They're pushing people in front of cars and pushing people on the train things. We got to stay aware. Stay aware of your surroundings.
Indeed.
So that is going to complete our prime time here on our Prime Time Awareness Wednesday. Next Wednesday, we are talking about inflammation.
Inflammation. Who do you know that has inflammation?
Any kind of swelling in your body is inflammation.
We're going to be talking about that next week.
Another form of mucus in your body and inflammation. The following week, we're going to talk about arthritis. Arthritis, this is arthritis month.
Exactly.
Has we know that well.
Your body yet?
Exactly. So just stay tuned, stay connected, family. Again, share this information out. Do not sit on it. We got to get it out, all family. Right. So with that being said, we're going to say good night.
Absolutely.
You got anything, mister?
Absolutely, I do. You know, like to end it always, you know, you guys are so supportive. We appreciate you guys joining us on these Wednesdays, awareness platforms. We appreciate you. We respect you on that. You're being our co-host. You make it all worth it, really. And it's just information being shared, effective, good information. Give kudos to Victoria, and the certified health coach. Does our research, gives all these great reports every single week. It's just amazing at what she does. And when she gets into that zone and how good she's making it happen, she gets it out.
Get it out there,
and that's why we do what we do. All right, so as we do always to end our prime time with saying that we love you guys, and there's really absolutely nothing you can do about it.
We're going to keep talking.
We're going to keep talking about it. God bless you guys. Have a great rest of your week.
And we'll see you next Wednesday.
See you next Wednesday.
Same time, same
Invite
channel.
somebody. Bring somebody to listen to this information. There's some good stuff here. Really, really good stuff. We appreciate you guys. Love you.
All right. Good night, fam.